What's going on, everybody? Bobby Fine, Eric Sheets-Haber. We're going to be talking about tonight's 9-game MLB slate. It's it's an interesting one. I was curious because we didn't do the show together earlier, and it feels like it's been a while. I know we did a Friday and we did the Wednesday golf and stuff, but I was curious to get your thoughts on sort of the slate and sort of what you were coming up with.
A couple of things to couple of interesting just overall things, and I'll get into who I like. Couple of interesting spots. So I want to talk about the Seattle Angels thing for just a second, because I always seem to play Seattle when either of two pitchers are pitching, and both of them are from the Angels. One is Reed Detmers, and he's not pitching. I don't even think he might be on the DL. And the other always seems to be Tyler Anderson. I always seem to get these Seattle righties going against Tyler Anderson. Cal Raleigh averages like 3 home runs a game every time I play him against Tyler Anderson. And I was thinking before I was running projections that that's where I was going to end up in my, my non-Coors, exposure. And then I forgot that Julio Rodriguez isn't playing. And that really impacts, already a kind of a tough ballpark situation, So I'm probably not going to do that. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about is what you thought of the Dodger game, because like my initial builds, my initial things that I want to do, I want to play the Dodgers, and I kind of want to play San Francisco a little bit too. So again, those are not like the highest projected plays, but I kind of like it. Snell is probably going to get a little bit of ownership because of his price at 7,500, and like Snell can do Snell things, and it's a late game, so the lineups are not going to be out for a while, I don't think, and you can always screw around a little bit. So I'm kind of interested in that. Now, as far as like the regular stacks, certainly Houston looks good. Certainly the Red Sox look good. So that's really as far as the hitting. We'll get back to the pitching in a second, but as far as the hitting goes, that's where I'm kind of interested. Like I like the Dodgers, I like the Astros. I'm probably going to end up just kind of fading the Red Sox, just because. And then some other types of pivots. Like I'm getting some Milwaukee. I like that a little bit. And as far as like which teams to stack against kind of good pitchers, I might end up holding my nose and playing a little Arizona for no reason. So as far as like the hitting goes, we'll get back to the pitching if you want. I don't know if you wanted me to do it this way, but it's Houston, Arizona, Dodgers, Milwaukee would be like my four main ones.
Yeah, I'm Houston, Kansas City, Texas, and Houston, Kansas City, Texas, and the Dodgers as my other one. I wanted to get, and I still think it's not a bad idea to play the Giants tonight. I actually don't mind it at all. They always release their lineup late. People won't even know who's playing yet, probably by the time we lock it with the way they do things. But I like Texas quite a bit. I like the Houston, and even if you're not playing the Dodgers, there's just some pricing that guys are so cheap that sort of make things work. I got to more White Sox than I thought I was going to. And I just seem to just do this. I just donate a certain percentage of my whatever to whatever team Michael Lorenzen pitches for. I've been burned by him so many times. I also have a little Lorenzen, by the way. But I really the White Sox are cheap. It's not necessarily full stacks, just like little pieces. There's some cheap bats there that I'm using, but the main ones are going to be the Houston, Kansas City, Texas, and then probably the Dodgers. I also do want to add, and we'll get into pitching, but like I am also going to have some Blake Snell. Like I think that that's a situation I don't mind playing both sides of. And it seems like every time he faces the Dodgers, he gets killed or he's dominant. So you just play I think a little bit of both sides of that one. It's great hitting weather, by the way, out here. You see how many more home runs these guys are hitting. There was 3 balls they hit that were home runs the other day. I think it was yesterday. That would not have been a home run like 3 weeks ago and any other time this season. You know what I mean? It just started getting hot enough to where the ball's just traveling. And that those warning track fly balls that turn into home runs is a big deal. Of course, do you see the way Ohtani hit one, Sheets?
Crazy.
That's like he almost hit it out of the stadium. It's nuts. Anyway, yes, that's what I've got for hitting. For pitching, I'm probably a little bit more on the chalkier side. I like Reagan's the best. I will do the Hunter Green. He pitches well away from home. I don't mind taking the shot at him. I earlier thought like a good pivot if you're playing 150 would be like in Atlanta against him, but I just didn't get there personally. And then I have Houck, Miller, Snell, Arrighetti in that order. I didn't find the pricing difference made me need to go down further. I like Arrighetti, but I also was trying to think like, okay, I'll probably, it's not like I need to save anything, but he does have upside. Anyway, so what do you got for pitching?
I'm pretty, I guess chalky, but I'm kind of spread out a little bit too. I have more Bryce Miller than I'm probably supposed to. And then I have my top 4 guys are Miller, Lopez, Reagans, and Houck actually. I'm getting Hunter Green, but not maybe as much as I could or should, I suppose. And Arrighetti, I'm only getting like, see, I don't believe the ownership on Arrighetti. I think Arrighetti is going to be has to be much more popular than this. But nonetheless, I'm probably playing Arrighetti in at least one of my bigger buy-ins. And kind of like the theme is it's going to be like late if I play like Miller, Arrighetti plus like Dodgers, San Francisco, I don't have to turn on the TV for like 4 hours, like
Right.
So with respect to Snell, I opted to not play him on DraftKings, but play him on FanDuel for some reason. Yeah. But even on FanDuel, I mean, pretty much same guys: Miller, Arrighetti, Snell, and then you have sprinkles of all the other dudes like Ober, Hunter. I always talk about Hunter Green. You have any sprinkles of like Tyler Anderson or Tobias Myers or anything like that, or you don't need any of that?
Exactly what I have is sprinkles. 5% of I have 5% of Tyler Anderson, 5% of a little higher, 10% of Myers. I do have 15% of I forgot to mention Lopez. And then I've got 7% of Austin Gomber.
Yeah, I have a couple of that on DraftKings.
It actually makes some sense. Like you have the best strikeout matchup for lefties in baseball, and at no ownership as the cheapest pitcher. Where if you look at his splits, he's not putting up huge numbers or anything at home, but he's averaging 12.3 fantasy points per whatever at home. Could that be worthwhile in differentiating your lineup? The problem is then who are you trying to spend up for if you're not playing Colorado? So that's the only issue. Is like, why am I saving this money? I mean, unless you're playing, Boston in Colorado, because everybody else is pretty affordable. Even like Texas, who I really like. The more I thought about it, the more I start to like them. They just don't have anybody above 5K, which makes it just so much easier to build. And you try to play the Dodgers, and you've got Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar, and Shohei. There you go. You got like 2K left per player.
And what do you and in your I think I probably know the answer to this, but in your White Sox, I don't want to say stacks, but in your White Sox exposure, are you avoiding the non-power guys like Benintendi, or is he cheap enough that you're going to use him in your stacks?
He's cheap enough if I'm using at least 4.
But I hate to interrupt you, but I think the Dodgers lineup is out here.
Yeah.
I didn't see that before.
I think that there was questions about whether or not Lux would start, but he hit a home run yesterday, so he did. And I think they thought Rojas would start, and Rojas did not. So I actually I didn't play Lux yet. I might throw him into a lineup, but I actually had no Rojas anyway. So it's not going to change much for me, except for maybe adding Gavin Lux into a couple of these things.
Any news on this Dodger pitcher or no?
Like he's been okay. I don't know how long. I just don't think they're going to let him pitch much.
Okay.
I think that's sort of and again, we never know with these things because that's sort of the consensus feeling, but I can't say that that's accurate. You know what I mean? It just seems to be the regular thing they do. He hasn't thrown a ton of innings. He threw 22 innings only. I think over maybe 4 starts in the minors, and he was actually pitching well. He's 25. He's not like a top level prospect guy, but he is a guy who's been in the system and like, you know, they're going to give him like a little bit of a chance. I mean, I can't say that if he's perfect through 5 innings, they won't let him throw out 6 or 7, you know, like, but I don't think that's the plan. And I'm not sure I'm buying him being overly good in general. I don't know what that means for tonight, though.
But that's interesting that you're getting some good hitting weather there.
Yeah, it's just been like nice, you know what I mean? When it's 80 degrees. Remember, I always ask the thing, but that's if it was over 70, you play it, and it's been like right about at 80 every night.
Now, what we can do, if you want, just to instruct a little bit, is I could you want to unshare your screen? I'll share mine. I could run a build here.
Yeah, let's do that.
And let's see what that looks like.
Let me stop this there. Okay, so they got Frelick, Chourio. Oh, they got Chourio batting 6th. Okay, that's going to change a little bit of my stuff.
All right, so let's just see what we get here. And I'm just using the SaberSim projections. And again, we'll look at. I like looking at the differences between what we would get before applying sims and what we would do, whatever. I imagine that in straight up, you know, optimals or whatever, probably get a lot of Houstons, but let's and Boston's, I imagine. Let's just see. So team stacks, actually, they want me to play mostly Milwaukee, Seattle. Oh, they're already accounting for the ownership. So Milwaukee, Seattle, Angels, San Francisco. Milwaukee, I don't have a lineup yet.
It just came out.
Okay. Any surprises?
Yeah, it's a little different. Mitchell's batting 9. Chourio, who was expected to bat 9th, is batting 6th. That's Hoskins is batting 7th instead of 6th.
Okay.
That's the main ones I have right now. I'm just double checking the earlier lineup projection. Frelick is batting 5th, which we pretty expected. Ortiz 8th, which we expect. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a shift.
There's nobody like out or anything like that, right?
No, it's the same one I had projected, but I don't know that it's just a different order. But I do think that does make a little bit of a difference because that Chourio didn't feel like, I actually think he's a good like one-off play. Like, I know it sounds weird, but like I was keeping him out of because I thought he was going to be batting 9th of like my one-off consideration. I kept finding 3,600 left, and now I know I can play him. I feel a little bit better about it.
So it looks like in straight optimals or whatever, you're using, well, let's just see what we're looking at here. Now that I open a big mouth. So we're looking at this large slate ranking here. We click the eyeball, and that says 0.3 times some of my projections times 0.7 times the 99th percentile. So that is pretty aggressive. And it's taking 0.6 times the average adjusted ownership. So to translate that, this build is supposed to be pretty aggressive. Now, what it's not doing is doing, you know, min uniques or anything like that. And again, this is only rated the top 50. So let's for example, let's rate the top 150. And so it would still really want me to play like a bunch of this Milwaukee. So it's something to think about as I then like run sims and stuff like that. So now we do the contest sim settings. Let's we could just, you know, we already had our settings set to run whatever, you know, the stock, what SaberSim thinks everybody's going to play, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious what else we're going to get to. I was actually very surprised that Cole Reagans didn't have a better projection. I guess Arizona's, you know, they're not bad, you know.
I have I have him as the number 1 pitcher, so
yeah. I'm not surprised.
They're not bad, but I think Imanaga, how much did he put up against them yesterday? He's as lefty. I mean, they are good against lefties in general, but they're susceptible. I mean, Imanaga had 31 yesterday against them.
Oh, the other day I played something. I guess the baseball gods punished me for being lazy. So Brady Singer was playing the White Sox the other day, and he was only projected at like 13% ownership or something, because nobody ever plays him. And there were better plays, like it was Peralta and all those guys. So I play some lineups or whatever, and I just locked in Brady Singer across everything, and he scored 30 fantasy points, and I still didn't win. It was like brutal.
Oh, that's terrible.
It was brutal. And I spread out my stacks. I didn't want to get too over whatever, but that's the way it goes. All right, so let's see what this looks like. So if you look at we're gonna do the bat flip. We sort the bat flip by risk adjusted ROI, and now it gets me like all this Seattle. All right, so that's really want me to play Seattle, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then
By the
Boston.
way,
Boston, obviously Boston makes sense, but Philly, Texas, whatever. Let me see the pitching. Green, Houck, Snell. So no real big surprises, except again, Reagan's. I mean, I'd be getting some of him, but he wouldn't be like the highest owned. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to do the Seattle business. I like when Julio is in the game. I like when he's in there.
they do just have some really cheap plays, and I don't think it's like a way off the board thing.
Okay.
I actually think that they end up like higher owned than some of the other offense, like some of the other decent ones. Like Victor Robles is batting second; he's 2,400.
Yeah.
They're just cheap enough if you want to get them as a supporting thing. Both Garver and Cal Raleigh are. I mean, Raleigh's more expensive, but
Do you think that Robles could get pinch hit for them?
Yeah, but he's batting second, so it's a little less worrisome. And maybe, but like they're down Julio, so
And there's only 20. Right, that's true. Oh, that's true.
so there's some of the guys who wouldn't normally be in their lineup. They have I think I noticed that they had a couple lefties. I think Class A, yeah.
I wonder if Julio's gonna pinch hit and ruin everybody's work.
Well, I don't know what the deal is going to be with. My guess is that unless a certain situation comes up, it probably won't happen. But maybe there is one that does, But that would also be weird because you'd be pinch hitting a righty. Like, I mean, obviously he's a great hitter, but like you did put out your righties today anyway. So I don't know. I think that I'm trying to see what lefties they have on their bench. Yeah, I guess it's possible, but I don't think it's as likely. Like that's the thing about the Boston stacks that are weird is like. I just think it's a good fade on like the chalky-ish part of it. Like they have three guys in Westbrook, Gonzalez, and Refschneider who will all come out once a righty comes in.
Okay.
Like pretty safe to. I mean, that's at least what's been happening. There's an outside chance one of them could stick around, I guess. But so you have three major pinch hit risks in your lineup, and one of them is the most popular player projected on the slate. It just feels like the wrong thing to do.
Who's the most popular you're projecting?
This is, I'm just taking a look at the the Saberson one. Yeah, Remy Gonzalez is Saberson. You have him a little less.
Okay.
Some of the other sites have him a little bit more, and some of the other sites have him a little less. But still, like no matter what, it's still pretty popular. I love I am playing like I have Devers and Duran both prioritized, and I like Connor Wong, but I'm not playing them in stacks.
And I like the Connor Wong is always really good.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Oakland, I mean, it's interesting the Oakland thing too, because by the way, it's literally like usually like 65. It's like 80 there too.
Oh really?
It's just wet. It's hot. It's only 76 now, so it's only projected at 76. But it's just warmer. It's been warmer in California for the last few weeks, and you're starting to see a lot of power because of it.
Let me just see what kind of pitching. You think that Boston's going to be more popular than Houston? I guess so, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be more popular for sure, but like I do think Houston will be pretty high up there. But it's still not like an alarming amount, Even if you look at your projected ownerships, you got Boston, then Seager, then like some Houston, a little bit of KC. KC is less owned than I thought they were going to be today, to be honest with you, and that's why they're my biggest buy-in right now.
KC,
4-man. Yeah. I don't trust this Diaz being as good as he pitched well in his last outing or whatever, but that was, just one game. I don't know how good I buy in that he is, and I just like I like the KC stack today. So
You like any Ranger Suarez or not really?
I didn't get to any of it, to be honest. I also think that we didn't talk about that game, but that game has serious weather concerns.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, the Philly Minnesota game. I just don't think it's worth playing anyway. Like I don't like anything enough anyway, so it didn't make a difference to me. But I think it's probably a good idea
Just
to
exit or whatever.
make a call. Well, or just decide to, if you're going to play any, I don't know, Suarez, try maybe stack Philly.
Right.
We could use a Houston lineup at some point.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would. No idea who I'm playing there.
And the other, who's the other one off? That one's, Adam Frazier, I guess. Again, I try to think about a bit being more intelligent with the one-offs that I want to play,
Yeah, so I don't like Adam Frazier as a one-off.
That's what I meant. That's why I was going to bring up, because I know you've always taught me to like guys like that and Benintendi or whatever to try to get away from,
At least Benintendi will run more than Frazier will, though. Like, Frazier's actually a good hitter, though. That's the difference. Benintendi's not anymore, or at least he hasn't been. I mean, he's not a good hitter. Okay, let me repeat that. He's been an all-star more recently than Benintendi has, which is actually kind of amazing.
Well, let's just see. So that's the next thing I did. So I've X'd out the Philadelphia, Minnesota game. If Suarez or one of these guys or Ober beats me, I mean, they'll just beat me, I guess.
The Dodgers are going to be like unowned, by the way. Shohei is always going to have ownership. Like whenever he's not like 20%, it just means the Dodgers will be like unowned.
Right. Who else did we forget? Did you mention playing any Atlanta?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting pivot, and I still do. I just found other stacks that I liked a little bit better. Wow, Shohei has like almost no games with 0 points this whole season. That's like amazing. Should happen like twice a week to even the best hitters. But yeah, I think that I'm sort of leaning a little bit more on the other stuff late night, other than the KC and the Texas. Texas has not been themselves basically all year, but I think this is a tough matchup for Fetty, and I've said that a number of times. Actually, I was the one who was on and believing maybe he was different, and he's been different. He's been really good, but I just think that there's some of the numbers just look like he's getting a little bit too lucky, and and Vegas agrees. They have a big total for the Rangers, so it's enough for me. They also have a guy there's the cheap guys, the battle of the two cheap ones in the same game. There's Brooks Baldwin at 2K at second base, and then there's Justin Fascu at 2.1.
Yes, I saw that.
So I'm playing those guys a little bit.
Are you arguing those guys?
Was that? Yeah, I've got a little. I mean, I like the Texas stack and I like the White Sox stack, so it makes sense kind of to play the 2K guys.
Yeah.
But my White Sox stack love is more like, okay, I like 3 or 4 of them. You know what I mean? At most, or maybe just 2, like a little 2-man or something. I think this is a good time of year, though, to start reminding people that even though Vegas is good on the numbers, like the overs have been crushing for the most part. Yeah. And I'm just saying, especially in warm weather places, you're going to see it happening. The home run props are probably off too because of it. Like you really need to think about those weather changes. I know people don't think about it, but if you watch, I mean, what do you think? Every day there's every game there's at least 2 or 3 balls hit to the warning track. Just on that alone, and you get 10 extra feet of carry. It's a game changer.
Is Tanner Houck like good, or can I play Colorado?
Tanner Houck is awesome, but you can play Colorado if you want to.
But I can play Colorado?
I have a lot of Tanner Houck. Yeah, I mean, it's Colorado, and Colorado at no ownership. They're also missing McMahon, who's probably their best DFS hitter anyway. My thing with Houck is just he's been awesome. I mean, he's an all-star.
Right. Yeah, I got quite a bit of him actually.
Yeah. All right, what is my last pivot off this going to be? Casey Taylor.
Yeah, I don't want to play Frazier really. I mean, it's like a one-off.
Right. God, these guys, some of these guys, like Bobby Witt's numbers this year are just like out of control. He has 10 hits in his last 11 at bats. Like,
who?
Bobby Witt.
Yeah, he's pretty ridiculous.
He's nuts, and what's great about him for DFS too is even if he doesn't have a good game, he's going to steal a base if he gets on. Like if he gets into a force play, he's going to steal second. You know.
Right. Yep.
Okay, if I almost had this lineup perfect, God, Casey.
And so it looks like. Let me see what I'm doing here. So I've updated the projections. I'm using just the regular sims. I like the Texas Mr. Bobby.
Yeah, I think that's a good one too.
Kind of down with that one.
See if you go link.
I'm gonna end up playing Seattle, aren't I?
I think so. Some probably.
Yeah, I think I am.
I think it's just the most likely thing. Play this Drew Water. /362. 44 RBIs. 277, 362, 502. How many home runs did he hit?
So that's good. FanDuel. I'm going to stick with my FanDuel. And my FanDuel was. Let me just double check this. Little too leveragey. Like I got these Arizonas. Maybe a little too much of that.
You know who the hottest player in baseball is, by the way? It's Lawrence Butler. Just I'm playing him
Butler
as a one-off. Look, have you seen what he's done in this last games? It's nuts. He had the 3 home run game, and then all he does is get how many hits is that? Jesus. So he's had 5, 8, 10 hits in the last 4 games, 6 extra base hits.
You know what I got to do? I'm going to get rid of I'm going to get rid of my Philly and Minnesota stuff over here.
Yes,
on FanDuel also. That's good.
Do you guys factor in position scarcity for your lineups, i.e. if shortstop has only 2 high fantasy point plays, kind of like I use centers? It's a great point, OA. I absolutely do, but I would say that in baseball with the randomness, I'm usually willing to not worry about what the fantasy point projection is, and I'll play the 2K guy at short if he fits into my stack, you know, on if he's one of those guys. So it really depends, but yeah, I try, you know, if first base is really strong, maybe don't play Ohtani at first base on those slates. If it's outfield is stronger, maybe you play Ohtani at first. Yes, you factored in a lot of different ways, but
well, when you have what's their names like Dela Cruz and Witt, like shortstop or whatever.
Yeah,
like those guys. I mean, like who's the third guy? There's a guy I was thinking about. I was driving today. There were like there are 3 guys that.
Gunnar Henderson.
Who?
Gunnar Henderson.
I wasn't even thinking of him, but yeah, him too. Guys that just get 20 with no home runs. You know what I mean? Like without getting a home run. Not that they can't get home runs, but they don't need them. They don't need the home run.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And that's
it was
that's how they do it.
Yeah, it was Witt and it was Witt and Dela Cruz were the guy that I was thinking of.
Yeah. We don't get Gunnar Henderson as many.
Ohtani was the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah. Otani's
Just,
ridiculous.
they get to first and they just take off. They don't care, you know.
Yeah. But the weird part is Otani doesn't ever get caught either. Like he's like 23 or 25 or something.
All right, I guess we're ready to. I guess I'm ready to call it.
Yeah.
Oops, let me unsave this. So I will be, unfortunately, same boat tomorrow. I'll be out. We're recording the various doctors and PT and stuff like that. But I'll be here for live, and yeah, I'm ready. We're ready to start kicking some butt.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Have a good one, and hope the back gets better.
See you later.
All right, take it easy, man. I will answer this Lone Wax question here. Just being a Dodger fan, I know that look, he's fine. I don't think that I'm not playing him. I would actually decide more with San Francisco bats. I don't think he's going to get enough pitches to throw to be really in consideration. I do not mind the San Francisco bats.